Good morning. My name is Tim, and I'm here to bring you my presentation of good news for today for January the 2nd, 2023. Happy New Year to you. And we are now embarking on a new season of good news for today after a bit of a break over the Christmas holidays. I'm going to begin by reading, and actually in preparation for this, I mistakenly was looking at the lectionary for January 1st, and I have pondered that a bit, so I'm going to read from Luke 15 to 21, which was actually part of the lectionary for yesterday, for January 1st. When the angels returned to heaven, the shepherds said to each other, "Let's go right now to Bethlehem and see what's happened. Let's confirm what the Lord has revealed to us." They went quickly and found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in a manger. When they saw this, they reported what they had been told about this child. Everyone who heard it was amazed at what the shepherds told them. Mary committed these things to memory and considered them carefully. The shepherds returned home, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen. Everything happened just as they had been told. When 8 days had passed, Jesus' parents circumcised him and gave him the name Jesus. This was the name given to him by the angel before he was conceived. Now, first of all, I should point out to you that I am not what I believe is called a cradle Anglican. I was not born or baptized or whatever in the Anglican tradition, and in fact, the tradition in which I was raised did not pay so much attention to feast days and the liturgy and so on. But that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate that myself. I very much do. So I looked up first on the internet about what this day was, and it came to me as being named the Feast of the Holy Name. But then when I arrived at church this morning, I saw that the bulletin said it was Epiphany. So I thought, well, I need to get some clarification on that. So I looked up on forwardmovement.org, which is a publication of the Anglican Church, I believe, and I was informed of this. The designation of this day as the Feast of the Holy Name was new to the 1979 revision of the Book of Common Prayer. Previous Anglican prayer books called it the Feast of the Circumcision. January 1st, of course, is the 8th day after Christmas Day, and the Gospel, according to Luke, records that 8 days after his birth, the child was circumcised and given the name Jesus. Now, I've been pondering this a bit. I'm reading a book actually at the moment called The Master and His Emissary by Ian McGilchrist. This is the book. And I forget just what caused me to get that book, but it's quite an interesting book. He deals with, the subtitle is The Divided Brain and the Making of the Western World. So he speaks here of the left brain and the right brain. It's known, I guess, for a long time now that our brain is divided into two parts, a left brain and a right brain, and they have, these parts of our brains have different roles to play in our being. The left brain, he contends, is focused on grasping, on applying a focus, on attention, and like paying attention, and language. And the right brain, on the other hand, to summarize, sees more or is concerned more with keeping an eye out, if you like, for the big picture, for context, and for things that are more of an emotional nature, like music. He argues that we in the West have been too much taken by the left brain focus. And if we don't get it right soon, we are perhaps about to experience a massive catastrophe caused by our over-reliance on technology, science and seeming progress. And to that I agree, personally. And then this is a quote that came to mind, and it's often something that I ponder. I don't believe in an interventionist God. That's from a song by a musician, songwriter named Nick Cave, and the song is called Into My Arms. If you look Nick Cave up, he's very, in my view, would be a kind of a controversial person. And I don't necessarily believe in everything that Nick Cave has to say for certain, but this is how that song goes. He says, I don't believe in an interventionist God, but I know, darling, that you do. But if I did, I would kneel down and ask him not to intervene when it came to you. Oh, not to touch a hair of your head, leave you as you are. If he felt he had to direct you, then direct you into my arms. Into my arms, O Lord, into my arms. By interventionist, I mean, anyway, I couldn't speak for Nick Cave, but I think he means something like a God who is surprised by something bad that happens in his creation and jumps in to tweak it so as to make a correction. I think that's a very low estimation of the power of the divine. Now, it is true that seems to be the God of Noah, who did, in the flood, basically intervene, it would appear, and wipe out practically all of creation. But maybe, I wonder as I ponder that, maybe there's a deeper truth about Noah, and that would be a topic for another day. However, I do choose to, or at least I attempt to believe in the Creator God who brought all of this into existence and continues to work towards the fulfillment of his purpose. That's another way of saying, unlike the world of Newton in science, who kind of Newtonian mechanics would have said, had the view that if you knew everything at a given point in time, then you could predict everything for the future. But the current world of quantum mechanics, I don't want to wax on about this, says that that's not the way the world works. And so if God was to withdraw his presence, even for an instant, it's my opinion that we would all cease to exist. So God isn't some sort of original pool player who took the great shot and then set everything in motion and then walked away. God is not of that nature as far as I'm concerned. So in that context, I find the conception, life, death, resurrection, and the ascension of Jesus the Christ to be a miracle, almost impossible to believe unless I use my right brain to put it into context. Those are my thoughts for today, and I'll close by wishing you all a very happy new year, 2023. I hope it turns out to be everything that you hoped for and more. Till next time, goodbye. Thank you.